Hello. Hi.
Welcome back. My lights are all. I don't know what's going on with my lights right now. Anyways,
It's like fix it. I hope that helps.
well, welcome back to the Cool Comic Show. I am your host, Damien, and with me always, Galactic Mr. E, aka Mr. E, aka. And joining us later,
That's crazy.
our usual guest, our special guest throughout this series is at Ghostly Amethyst. She is, I believe I heard she was on her way. She was at a fashion show. They were doing something, but
Fashion show.
yeah, they should
Why is
be.
she late?
She should be joining us later. But we are here to talk about the
Oh my
Moon
gosh.
Knight finale,
Mm.
episode 6, Gods and Monsters. Now,
Yes.
I want you to give me your initial, or not your initial, but like your overall impressions of the episode, and then we could talk about the season as a whole. So, what did you think about
It,
it?
um, I enjoyed the majority of the episode. I thought the direction and the cinematography was beautiful, as it has been throughout this whole series.
Mm-hmm.
But I can't lie, it did leave me feeling jebaited at quite a few points in the episode.
Yeah.
I hate we didn't really get a showdown between Harrow and the other gods,
Yep.
other than like some pew pews in the background. Of course, the point of the scene was to show, Layla getting the idol, but like I would have liked more of a like it didn't feel like there was enough of a reason.
Mm-hmm.
It just kind of felt like it fell a little flat to me.
Yeah.
And I also, towards the end of the episode, when we do finally get like a big fight, I just felt frustrated that we didn't actually get to see, a lot of, what
What
we've been
happened?
spending the past five episodes leading towards. Don't get me wrong, the fight leading up to the debated portion was phenomenal.
Yeah.
Like the kaiju gods in the background just going at it. Like I thoroughly enjoyed like the direction of the episode. But like I said, there were certain parts that just made me frustrated as a fan. But I think it got the job done. It was a good episode.
Yeah. So, I think overall, enjoyed the episode.
Mm.
But I feel like you said, there were moments where I was like, why couldn't we just see what happens? More the specific biggest one
Yeah.
is when Jake comes out and obviously finishes
Hmm.
that fight. And the fight
That would
leading
have
up,
been.
yeah, like you said, the fight leading up to it was cool. The way they were going back and forth between Moon Knight and Mister Knight and their different fighting styles, and you can tell they were like working in tandem
Insane.
now
Yeah.
versus trying to fight, for power. That was dope. And then Layla coming out with some, I don't know. I know I'm not the only person who's going to say this, but with a lot of Wonder Woman parallels there.
Yeah.
But I think she's a dope character. Her costume was sick, and I hope
Yes.
we get to see more of her. And we'll talk about
Hmm.
whatever future projects. So I thought her stuff was cool. I thought she had really cool stuff. But once it was once he was about to get overpowered and like there was the kaiju stuff in the background, I was like, okay, well, I was like, is this where we're gonna see Jake pop out and like fuck everything up? And it was, but then it cuts out when everything was done. So I was
Oh.
like, all right. And then shout out to the gods just basically being useless because Arthur went in there and he was like, I'm here to fight, and then the fight ends. It's like
Right.
we didn't see
Like,
that fight either. So it's like
that like I don't know if that part made me more upset or the Jake part because like
I think
yes we
Jake
do
for me.
I mean fair.
Yeah.
Fair, because we do, and like I do appreciate the
Here we go.
breadcrumbs.
Bread comes again coming back.
Breadcrumbs that they left throughout the series. And I feel like that would have been the perfect payoff moment.
Mhm.
Like, I know you're trying to leave some suspense because, they did try to do kind of like a twist ending, be like, yeah, I said I'd let you go. But so, like, I get why I guess they didn't show him in that moment.
Mhm.
But for me, as a fan, feeling like this is what it's been building up to,
Yeah.
I felt so frustrated just having them cut to like, oh shit, all this shit has happened, and you can tell
Yeah.
all this shit has happened. Like Layla's picking, like pulling off his like Moon Knight thing from
Yeah.
the van. So apparently she got pinned down at
Something
some point. We
happened.
didn't even really get to see her in action.
She had some
Shout out,
cool stuff too that she was doing.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. She definitely did. And shout out to the Scarlet Scarab as well.
Mhm.
I like what they did to kind of um meld Layla's character into it. Since Layla isn't in the comics, they
Mhm.
can really do whatever they want with this character. And Scarlet Scarab really isn't that well known either. So I guess I can't imagine someone's going to be on Twitter like, oh, you just gotta be comic accurate. I can't
You'd be
imagine.
surprised. I saw some
Yeah.
already last night. I was like, bro, it's the Scarlet Scarab. Why are you so
Like no one was talking about the Scarlet Scarab before last night. Like
like the thing
you
is, like,
can't be mad.
even when it's like a known character like Superman or whatever that people try to make different or in
Mhm.
any kind of way, like even that's still not a valid reason to be upset. But when it's the Scarlet Scarab, it's like, why are you upset?
Why are you mad? Like, I'm so sorry, your favorite hero, the Scarlet
Yeah, it's
Scarab, is
just
now a woman.
I don't understand how the
Uh,
internet gets upset at anything, dude. Like it's
but I do like I said, because Layla's not in the comics,
mm,
and Terouette, forgive my mispronunciation, because I
yeah,
don't know how to pronounce it correctly.
yeah. I think it's Tedawet, something like that.
Yeah, but they're not in the comics
Mm,
either. So we have Layla being an avatar of this god that we know nothing about. We don't know anything about Layla for real,
yeah,
even though she's based on other characters. So it really gives the MCU a lot of freedom with this character. So I do suspect we'll see her again.
and more
Um,
representation, you know.
and more representation. Marvel definitely let that be known.
Yeah.
I am, but it was good, and especially since the actress May, what's her last name? If you know it, I
I don't
can't
know it
remember it off
offhand.
the top of my
Where is
head.
she from too, actually? Because I don't know.
She is.
Let
Hold
me
on.
see.
Oh, because
Gotta
I
pull
have
it
it in
up.
my notes.
We're doing our journalistic integrity, you know. May Calamaway? It's
Uh, yeah,
Calama.
Kalamaui,
Yeah.
Kalamaui, or some.
Ah.
But she is. Uh, she's an Egyptian Palestinian actress.
Oh, nice.
So it's good that it is representation and it's proper
Yeah.
representation because you get a lot of naysayers out there saying
Yeah.
you don't want this, that, and the other. But I enjoyed the little moment, the little shout out
Mhm.
because there are a lot of youths
The youth.
youths
I told we're aging
out
every
there.
single day, dude.
But yeah, there's a lot of younger people out there who I'm sure can appreciate the representation that a lot of us did not have
Yeah.
growing up.
And we have
So
Miss Marvel
uh,
coming too and everything. And
exactly. So it's definitely great to see, and I love what they did with the character. One of the highlights of the series,
yeah,
definitely.
I liked her a lot. I thought, like, it was, I don't know if you had this thought, but like when she was talking to Tarawet, I think her name, um, she was like, okay, she's like, I have a cool costume in mind. I don't know why.
Mm.
My immediate thought was like, is she gonna have like a hippo costume?
No,
I don't know
please.
why I thought that, but I was like, hippo costume, is it coming? But I thought her costume was dope. I thought her fight stuff was really cool. Yeah, like I
Yes.
said, the biggest things for me was not being able to see Jake fight, and then not like the gods literally just doing nothing. Like they were just there, and like I know we had our theories of like, oh, were the gods like in cahoots with Arthur? Were they planning something? No, they were just dumb, and
They were
all this.
just there to be disposed of. It does open up the gates though, because they're all dead. So like
Yeah,
all the gods need
they
new
died so
avatars.
fast too. Like they're
Bro, I felt so frustrated after a fight because I was like, because you saw him doing the little hand
yeah. I was like,
motions,
oh
like I
shit,
got
something's gonna
these.
go crazy.
Oh shit, we about to get a magic fight, and then it's just like pew pew in the
Yeah, like it cut to
background.
Layla. She had a quick conversation, and then come back. Oh, they're dead. I was like, okay.
Oh, they're dead.
And
Oopsies.
like I get it, obviously
Uh,
budget. It's a TV show,
yeah,
but one,
exactly.
like we mentioned this before, Marvel or the MCU specifically has always prided itself that there's gonna be no drop in, especially when the Disney Plus shows got announced. They were like, these are not gonna be a drop in quality. We're gonna give it all the budget it needs. It's not like they
Yeah.
don't have the money. Like they have money,
Mhm.
and I mean, this episode could have easily been an extra 10 minutes, 15 minutes to show those fights, to show more stuff with Layla, whatever. It
Mm.
was like 43 minutes.
Yeah,
It was one of
yeah,
the shorter episodes, and I was surprised. I was like, this is a finale, and
yeah,
we still don't know if
exactly.
there's a season 2. We don't know if Moon Knight's gonna be in a
Yeah.
movie. Like,
Yeah, and that's the more frustrating thing as well because they drop so many like hints about these things that do take place in the comics, like Bushman,
yeah,
um, who is Mark's
arch
uh
nemesis,
arch nemesis, but ex
CO.
partner as
Yeah.
well. He's the one who went to
Mm,
everyone in the desert. So like we get these hints of Bushman. They did say that they didn't want Bushman in the series because he was
more
too
bland.
much like Killmonger. So
Mm,
they decided to go with a different villain,
mm,
which Harrow, what they did with Harrow and Ahmed, it was really good. I just feel like the payoff was not there.
yeah.
You know, I feel like we they
It
it
was
was rushed in a
it was
way.
rushed, but there could have been more.
There could have been more. Um, so, like I said, I did appreciate a lot of things about the series, but it fell a little flat to me on this final episode.
Mm,
But there was still so much to enjoy in
yeah.
this episode, though. But yeah,
Yeah,
that's how I. Go
I
ahead.
think like I think overall as a series, like, getting into that, I think there were moments that I enjoyed.
Mhm.
And I don't know if we mentioned this in episode 2 or 3, but this was the first time in the MCU that a new character was introduced in a TV show versus a movie. And
Yeah.
so it made me think about the other Disney Plus shows like WandaVision and Loki and Captain America and Winter Soldier now. And
Mhm.
these were characters we already knew. I know I
Exactly.
still haven't seen Hawkeye. And so I wonder
It's worth the
if,
watch.
yeah, I wonder if Moon Knight, had he been introduced in a movie or something and then gone to this, I wonder if more people would have enjoyed it. I
Mhm.
still think this show is definitely more geared towards people who are a fan of the Moon Knight comics. I think if you were a
Definitely.
casual fan or just an MCU fan, you probably wouldn't have got as much out of this. And there were points, especially throughout the series, but especially in the finale, where it felt like I was like, they're kind of doing that thing that DC does, where they just expect you to know some of this stuff.
Yeah. Yeah.
And obviously, Moon Knight's not like, for some people in their mind, he's an A tier character, but in terms of popularity, he's not. In terms, as a comic book character.
Yeah.
So when they're mentioning these kind of things and they keep teasing throughout the series, and they were teasing stuff with Jake, it's like, if you
Mhm.
don't know that stuff, you're not
Yeah.
gonna.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah, I can definitely agree to that point. I feel like if you're just the casual viewer,
Mhm.
you probably did not get the same excitement out of this series like someone as such as myself or
Yeah,
someone who knows more about Moon Knight than I do.
yeah.
Because like I said, it's a lot of little nods and it's a lot of little breadcrumbs. I feel like
There's still some cool shit too that I gotta still look fun time watching.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Yeah. I feel like this is one of those shows where the joy in it, if you're just a casual watcher, as tedious as this sounds, would be to watch it a second time
yeah,
because there are a lot of, even if you don't know all of these things, there are a lot of foreshadowing things throughout the series.
mm,
Even from episode one, I was watching something earlier how they talked about the fish tank in episode one
mm.
had a lot of foreshadowing throughout the themes in the rest of the city.
Oh, really?
You see sort of the Field of Dreams or Field of Dreams,
Field
Phil
of
Reed's,
Reeds. Yeah,
Phil Reed's, and you see, the Pyramid of Giza and all this other stuff in it as well. It's a really kind of nice look at the series, but then again, you have to kind of know what's coming
yeah,
to get that enjoyment out of it. So I feel like after on a second watch, the series may give more meaning to the more casual
yeah,
uh viewer, but who's going to watch it a second time if
yeah.
they were this confused? I mean, it's not like sitting through Inception where you're confused, so you have to watch it a second time, but
What a
it's
shout
just
out!
one.
Shout out to Inception.
It's just one movie,
Yeah.
so that's a little less that's a little more doable
Hmm.
than sitting there and watching another 6 episode miniseries. So I don't know. I think it does have some watch rewatchability, but like I don't know how many people would be
Yeah, go
willing to
back.
do that.
Yeah, I think it's one, like, it's like I said. I think if you're a fan of Moon Knight from the comics, even if you were, because there's different types of comic book fans. Even if you were a casual comic book fan in the sense that like you've seen Moon Knight and maybe a team up book or whatever, but you knew of him through the comics, you knew anything about him, anything that and up, I think you love this show. I think you have a good time in it. I think it's fun for you. I think it's really a good depth into what the character is. But yeah, if you're a casual show, it just depends. And I think it made me think, as like I mentioned, if this had been a movie, I wonder how it would have done. If they're like, all right, origin movie, Moon Knight, you know, it's going to be hour and a half, 2 hours, however long.
Yeah.
Like, I wonder how that would have gone. But
Yeah, and like it's such a complicated character.
yeah, it's very complex.
So it's really hard to say what format introducing them would have gone well in. And not to say this series is bad because I enjoyed it.
I think, yeah, I don't
But
think it's bad. I don't think it's a bad series.
I feel like if they had more time, it could have come across better, or if it was in a movie format and they focused on different aspects instead of all of these aspects, it may have been fleshed out a little better. I don't know. I'm not a movie doctor,
Yeah.
you know.
Well, you and I both discussed if we were good at movies, we would be fixing the DC, a lot of the DC stuff, but that we still enjoy, you know.
Exactly. So I'd say if we were to rate it, or if I were to rate it, I would personally give it, I'd say a 7 out of 10.
I'd give
How about
it.
yourself?
I'd give it 21 dead bodies in Mark's
Okay.
room out of 28.
Okay.
I don't know. I mean, I'm not really like, I've never been the kind of person to put ratings on things. It's either like
Yeah.
I really really like it, or it's like that's all right. And I think
Yeah.
with this, it was like I was all right. Like it was, I think it was a fun thing to kind of have like look forward to watch each week.
Mm.
I don't know if, like you said, I would go back. I was just thinking about this right now where you were saying that. I think what I would assume and hope happens, because Marvel does this really well, is
Mm.
I don't know if he'll get a season 2, but he'll probably show up in movies.
Yeah.
And then I think from those movies, if you go back and watch this show, it'll make it that much better. Kind of the same way how some of the Avengers movies or Civil War made those earlier movies much better, like some of the original Phase 1,
Yeah.
Phase 2 movies.
Yeah,
So-
I can agree to that.
I think if someone were to ask me, would you recommend this show? I would say if you already know who Moon Knight is, you'll probably like this show.
Mhm.
If you have no idea who the character is, you can probably just read a synopsis and you'll be okay.
Not the synopsis.
Yeah, like
Uh,
so I think it really depends on what your preference is. Like I said, I don't think it's a
Yeah.
bad show. I think there was still a lot of fun stuff. There were like, I still think last week's episode 5 was probably my favorite when they were going
Yeah.
into Mark's background and everything. So I think
I
that's
can
still my
see that.
favorite. And there was still some cool fight stuff. Could there have been more fight stuff? 100%. Like
Mm.
this was a finale. This is what they've been teasing, and then to cut out Jake stuff like that, it's like, all right.
Yeah. It's frustrating.
If they were like, hey, we
Oh.
have a season 2, like kind of how they did with Loki, right at the
Mhm.
end. And I know we could jump into it with the post credits on this. It's
Mm-hmm.
implied, obviously, that like there's going to be more of Moon Knight, but they didn't
Mhm.
drop like season 2 confirmed, nothing like that. So
Yeah. Well, I don't believe we are getting a season 2. Things may change. Things
Yeah.
change all the time. But this has been billed as a
Limited.
mini series, limited series as well. So usually when it's
just the one.
billed as that, it's just one and done. Even Oscar Isaac said he expected it to just be one and done. So I do believe we will see the character again, but I don't believe we will see him outside of an ensemble
I was gonna say, so what
situation.
movie does he show up in? Like in an Avengers movie? Is it?
Well, that's the thing. A lot of people think that Marvel is gearing up to announce the Midnight Suns, which is kind of like along the lines of Justice League Dark. So it's a lot of supernatural based heroes like Moon Knight, Blade, Black Knight.
I'm excited for Blade. It's gonna be sick.
Same. And so they Doctor Strange is part of them as well.
Which we should say, we're recording this on Thursday, May 5th, so we have not seen Doctor
Mhm.
Strange yet. This video should go up tomorrow on Friday.
Yes.
I'm gonna watch it tomorrow. I think E's watching it next week. So we don't know what's gonna happen in this Doctor Strange movie. Moon Knight, let's say Moon Knight pops up in the middle of it, like, hey guys, Moon Knight here. I don't think it will happen, but we don't know I think this Doctor Strange movie is going to tell us a lot about where the future of the MCU is going to go. Because I think we talked
Yeah.
about it in episode 1 of like, we don't really know right now what the overall kind of thing that's tying the MCU together. Like, I know there's stuff with
Mhm.
Kang, but he's not really going to show up again until Ant-Man. And
Yeah.
so we don't know what this current saga, if you want to call it, is building towards. We assume,
Yeah.
I would assume, as a hopeful fan, that it's involving the X-Men a lot. But we
Mhm.
have nothing about X-Men. We may see a mutant. It's pretty much confirmed, half confirmed, that there's a mutant in this movie, but
Yeah.
we haven't
I
seen Doctor
think
Strange yet, so we don't
they're
know anything.
holding off on any X-Men news until after Doctor Strange.
Yeah,
So I feel like we'll hear something about some sort of X-Men something
yeah, because there's two
within the next month or so.
there's two post-credit scenes, right, in Doctor Strange.
There are two
Yeah,
confirmed.
so I would assume that we're gonna get a tease of X-Men, a very specific X-Men in this movie, but we don't know
Mhm.
what's gonna happen. So this may change a lot.
Yeah.
And then after this is Thor, right, in
So the
June.
the Fantastic Four.
Yeah, so
So
Fantastic
they could
Four,
come too.
it's we don't know.
But we don't know. But I like I said, I feel like Marvel is gearing up to announce the
Midnight
Midnight
Suns.
Suns. Because there's so many characters. They could even bring Ghost Rider back. There are just so many supernatural characters in that uh kind of segment.
Yeah.
But like I said, it's sort of like Justice League Dark for people who are familiar with that. It's just a supernatural Justice League, and this is just kind of like a supernatural Avengers.
Mhm.
And we've had a lot of supernatural stories in this phase. We've had the Eternals, we've had WandaVision, Loki, all of these kind of supernatural and multiversal things. So I feel like that's the direction they're heading right now.
Mhm.
And I feel like to bring in Moon Knight and to have Black Knight at the end of the Eternals and to be gearing Blade starting production soon,
Mhm.
and they're all based in London. Um, I feel like we're going to be hearing that announcement down the road, not too
Mhm.
far down the road.
So when was the last like Marvel event where they announced a bunch of stuff? Was it that like digital event where Kevin Feige was talking about all the movies and he announced, like, talked about all the actors and stuff? And then
I believe so.
they had that trailer that was like, I think it was last year, called like
Mhm.
Marvel Celebrates the Movies, and that's when they announced like all the release dates of the movies that have come out, like Black Widow and
Mhm.
Eternals and all that stuff. I think that was the last. I think that was when they showed the Fantastic Four logo as well. So I wonder if they're gonna have, what's that name? I think it's called D23, that Disney event that's like every other year or something
Mhm.
like that in the summer.
Yeah.
So I would assume they're gonna have that this year, and maybe that's when we'll get like the next 2 years worth of announcements. Because by then, this, Doctor Strange will be out, Thor will be out, so maybe we'll get the Midnight Suns info there.
Yeah. I believe so.
Mm.
I like because the way they're going, they can pretty much do whatever team up movie they want.
Yeah,
We have the Avengers, but there hasn't really been focus on the Avengers in this phase per se.
I I'll
We
say hot
have a
take right now, not to cut you off. A hot take.
mm,
I don't think we're gonna get an Avengers movie for a while, like a long
I,
while.
I don't believe so either. And like I said, there hasn't been a focus on them. We've had a lot of team ups, but also the team ups that we're seeing, all these people are connected to different aspects within, the Marvel comics.
Mm.
So I think that we're going to see the original Avengers in this next phase start to branch off into these other teams. And I think that's why we are seeing these um lesser prominent heroes
Mm.
like Moon Knight start to pop up because while they may not be prominent in the Avengers universe, they are prominent in these other team up
Mm.
stories. And Marvel did kind of try to do the Defenders on Netflix back in the day, and we are starting to see some of those characters come back.
Yeah.
So I feel like we're about to start seeing a lot of team up movies
Mm.
that are not Avengers
Yeah.
related. And Midnight Suns definitely falls into that
So
category.
going back to the finale, I just thought of this.
Mhm.
Maybe you can help me understand.
Okay,
So towards the end,
I have no idea. I know what you're about to ask me. I have no idea.
well, not the stuff about Jake, but
No, I know what you're about to ask me. No, I have no idea.
like, was he in the hospital, or
Your guess is as good as
Because
mine,
when
dog.
They're in the hospital talking and Arthur's feet start bleeding, I'm like,
Hmm.
so is this the real part, or I got confused there, 100%.
I
I
got
was trying to
confused
focus
there,
and pay
dog.
attention. I was like, wait, okay, so
Wait,
where are we
so
right now?
I got confused, dog. Like, part of me believes that during the fight or whatever, they went back to this realm because Teruet, or however you pronounce it,
Yeah,
was there in the previous episode. So we know that it's not actual reality, but it's like a realm. But I cannot explain it.
yeah.
I don't know
I think that's
what
the
it
most confusing thing.
is.
Because then like when Mark comes back, he comes
Hmm.
out of that and he comes to his body. So like him
Hmm.
getting shot, which was real, and then it made me think about, okay, so them turning the night sky back was real, and
It
so
was, yeah.
is that gonna be like followed up on?
Which he sort of did again in this episode.
With what? Oh yeah, he did.
Khonshu made it dark. It was bright ass day, and he said, "Nah, night."
There was a lot of cool imagery, not only in this episode through the whole series,
Through the whole
but again,
series.
I think it left a lot of questions, and
Hmm.
maybe that's how they intentionally designed it. So later on, when he shows up in Midnight Suns or another, maybe he'll show up like in another show, but it's like it's an ensemble show or whatever.
Yeah.
Maybe it'll kind of help that out. But I think speaking from a business side of it, again, as a someone who doesn't know how to make movies or TV shows, and I'm not an expert, I think MCU's big one of their biggest strengths is the way that they are able to bring in casual fans. That's always been something they've done really well at. And so again, it may have been their idea from the start, like this is going to be for the comic fans, whatever. So I think that was kind of at odds with itself of having this character. And so, like I said, I'm not a movie doctor. Like he said, nothing like that. So I think it's the direction you go with this character in the future is I think you have him like exactly like you're saying. He shows up in the Midnight Suns. Layla continues to show up as well. I think she's a really good character.
Oh yeah.
Um, I think that with this show, I've kind of thought about it back and forth a little bit since last night of like would it have benefited from an extra episode or two, and I'm not sure. Like I think like thinking back to episode 1 and 2, they seem like so long ago when we were just in
Yeah.
London and just Steven's life. It feels like so long ago, you know.
True. A lot has
So
happened.
overall, I think there's some things to enjoy.
Hmm.
I think even if you know zero anything about Moon Knight and you decide to watch it yourself, you know, like you're like, oh, I'm gonna check it out. I think you'll still get some enjoyment out of it, but you're gonna have a lot of questions, just like I did, just like Kim did. Even someone who knows more about the character, had some questions at the end. I think there's, but to finish it off, we have a post credit scene, and Khonshu's dripped out.
Yo, he looked bad, didn't he?
Yeah, because after all this, with Arthur in the hospital, so Amit is in Arthur, right? In this real world, like she's living within him, right?
Hmm.
Okay. And then he's put into that. And I'm assuming, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, that Jake isn't Mexican in the comics.
No.
Or actually, I want to say Mexican. I don't know if he's specifically Mexican, but Hispanic in some way.
Mhm.
I think it works
No, I
because
guess.
obviously Oscar Isaac, you know?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
it's funny because after I watch it, I thought to myself, well, we can ask him, you know, whenever she shows up to this video. He pretty much did that thing like, hey, I'm Billy Bob, and then shoots him, and then it ends.
You called it. You both called it, and we knew it was coming, dog.
Yeah.
We knew it was coming, and that's what I'm saying. Like that's
So
why,
did you know it was Jake when the scene started? Because I seen
yeah.
people talking like they saw like as soon as he picked up Arthur, I guess they saw his hat or something like that.
Hmm.
So I didn't know
Yeah,
that it was Jake.
and yeah, I saw the hat, and I instantly knew, and I still freaked out, like
Yeah, it's
because
still cool.
I've been waiting for him, so
Yeah.
like I did still get that little excitement when I saw him, well, like I said, when I saw the hat, but I just feel like I don't know, because part of me is like I still wanted it to be that moment during the fight. I wanted to see the full fight, all the intensity.
Mm.
I want to get my free money's worth.
I mean, you're paying monthly for this subscription,
Fair
or
enough.
maybe it's using someone's password allegedly.
No, 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 no. Why would I do that? Anyway,
Actually, no. This is on Netflix. You can talk about password sharing. That's fine.
fair enough. But yeah, I just feel like that final fight. I do like the shot. I do love the angle of it. I like the idea of it. But as a fan, watching it, not caring about how beautiful this shot is, I want to see balls to the wall carnage. And I didn't get that. And I feel like I'm just sitting here empty handed
I
at
feel
the
like
end of the
yeah, I
day.
feel like that's the moment you like introduced
That
Jake.
was Jake's moment,
That's
and
his
they
moment,
took it from him.
and so
They
I
gave it
guess
back to Mark.
yeah, and I guess that's how they wanted to set it up for like
They
the.
Steve Harveyed him.
Oh my god. But yeah, I think that's how they wanted to set it up. I guess for the post credit, but again, what does a post credit
Yeah,
lead to? We don't know. So it's
exactly.
like
It's like and I feel like part of the reason they did that is because they did not want to
confuse people.
allude to the bigger MCU, because I do remember seeing them saying that they wrote out cameos both at the beginning of the
Oh
series
yes, I
and
remember.
at the end of the series.
Mhm.
So I feel like Jake wasn't originally there. I think that moment where we wanted Jake, he might have originally been there, and then the post-credit scene, whatever crossover they wrote out was actually in the post-credit
Yeah.
scene. So I feel like they wrote that in later on, which, like I said, I did still get the excitement, but
Yeah.
it's because I knew it was there. Like
Mhm.
if I was a casual viewer and y'all have been alluding to this thing all season, and then you give me a shot of him in the
Billy
post
Bob.
credits, I'm mad. Well, like I only had that excitement because like I knew it was coming.
Yeah.
But like if I was just like the casual viewer, like Kim, wherever she is,
Wherever
does
she
she
is.
even remember we have a show today? You said she had a fashion shoot,
Yeah, fashion
uh,
shoot. Then she had a book signing. And
a book signing.
yeah, she's all
Oh
over the
my
place.
gosh, Miss Hollywood over here. But yeah, like if I was a casual viewer like him, like I've been like, well, that's time I won't get back,
Yeah. Yeah.
So it was very hit or miss way of doing
Also,
things
shout out
in
to
my
Khonshu.
eyes,
Yeah, shout out to Khonshu playing Mark and Steven this whole time. Like, not.
bro.
He's like, yeah,
I
I'll release you guys. Yeah, sure. And he just has Jake there.
Good thing you don't know there's a whole nother guy.
Yeah.
Like,
Well, any
shout out to
other.
Kanshi because he did choose his words very
Yeah,
carefully.
he
Like,
did.
yeah, I'll let you go.
Mhm. So, any other notes you want to talk about for this episode, the series, anything? I guess I know we talked about potential future, but
Mhm.
anything else you want to
Um,
mention?
no, like I said, I enjoyed it. It was a beautiful series.
Hmm.
While I don't know that it has like ultimate rewatchability, I will probably personally be rewatching it just so I can see some of the like smaller
Yeah.
details.
Where would you
But
rank it against the other like Disney Plus shows?
that is a tough question.
Which one's your
I
favorite?
think um that is also a tough. I think my favorites, plural, are still Loki and WandaVision.
Hmm.
Like I've said 1,000 times before, I'm a sucker when it comes to magic.
Hmm.
So I'm gonna go hard for Scarlet Witch. Um,
I'm excited for Doctor
and
Strange, dude.
yeah, and I like Loki because of the ramifications that it had for the entire MCU. I
Hmm.
thought that was very good for it to happen to Loki's character because he's kind of been there since the beginning, and
Yeah,
he's just kind of been getting shadowed like
he's
in
been
every
there
film.
early.
Even when he has his redemption arc, he just winds up dead the next time we see him. So
Yeah,
like, I appreciate. I think, and also both of those series are just beautiful.
yeah.
So I think those are still my two favorites. I would put Moon Knight above Hawkeye. That's just Hawkeye and Captain America: Winter Soldier. But that's just because I don't really care for the street level heroes
Yeah, so
that
those are very
much.
grounded heroes.
The more grounded the hero, the more easy it is for me to get bored. Like
Mm.
I do enjoy those series. Don't get me
What do you
wrong.
mean?
I
Batman is the
definitely
number
enjoy.
one character in the world. He's the most grounded. That.
But no, I did. So I did enjoy. So I think I would go Loki just because of the ramifications.
Hmm.
So I'll go ahead. So Loki for the ramifications, Scarlet Witch because She that bitch.
Yeah. She that
um,
bitch.
after that, I would go Moon Knight, then Hawkeye, and then finally uh, Winter Soldier and Captain America.
Yeah, I'd say mine's pretty similar. But I would switch. I think, I think I liked WandaVision the most while I was watching it, and what that means is, while that show was running, if you remember, there was a lot of theories on who's gonna show up, what Wanda's gonna do, what's gonna
Hmm.
happen. So I think in terms of while it was ongoing, I think I had the most fun watching WandaVision. But I think
Yeah,
in terms of series, I think like from start to end, I think Loki might be the best one.
yeah.
Um, but yeah, I think I haven't seen Hawkeye yet, but I from what I've seen, I'm like, oh, it's like I feel like honestly, it felt like it was the way people talked about it. It was just one of the Netflix shows before. Not to say the Netflix shows were bad, but those shows were very, very grounded and very just like, all right, here's what we got. So
Yeah, it is. It is very. It's. I mean, it's Hawkeye.
yeah, it's Hawkeye.
You're not going to get the fantastical things you get
Mm.
from watching Loki and WandaVision, but
That's not to say a Green
it's true
Arrow,
to
Black
character,
Canary
you
show
know.
wouldn't do well. HBO,
Well,
DC,
I mean, and they do play on the trick arrows, so
yeah,
like there is some sort of suspense of belief, but
yeah,
it is very grounded in reality. It's very boots to the ground, arrow for a bullet, you know.
yeah.
It's just but it's good. Like I enjoyed watching it, and maybe it was because it was around the
I
holidays and I
was
was
just
missing
thinking that
home.
I might have to watch it during the holidays. I feel like I think it's just that vibe.
I mean, you might have to get the same feel,
Yeah. Well, that was Moon Knight, episode 6, the end of this series on this channel. Um,
Mhm.
we're still working some things out of what we're gonna do for the remaining series, like Miss Marvel, um, Umbrella Academy, Invincible. All these, there's a bunch of shows that are gonna start coming out, and as you guys know, these things take time to record and edit and everything like that, as long as with our regular jobs that we have. So we're gonna figure out which shows we're gonna do here and which ones we're not gonna do and stuff like that. In the meantime, Young Justice is still ongoing, which if you are interested in that show or if you are watching that show, make sure you check out our videos. But thank you all for supporting us during this Moon Knight run. I'm gonna watch Doctor Strange tomorrow. He's gonna watch it soon as well. We're excited for that. I think it'd be a lot of cool shit. I said this before. I'm a big X-Men fan, and it's pretty much implied that we're gonna get something in X-Men here. But also, if you guys haven't already, make sure you check out our Twitter for this channel. It is at Cool Comic Show. He's been on there sharing some news articles, talking about some cool, fun stuff that we're doing on there as well. And also
Aliens
follow
taking
our,
over
yeah,
until I watch.
yeah, and also follow our personal Twitters. We talk about a lot of fun stuff on there as well. E, thank you
Mm.
for joining us on this journey, being our resident Moon
Hey,
Knight guide.
before we leave,
Oh,
where is Kim?
well, I heard recently
Huh?
that she also picked up a job
Oh my goodness.
working for someone, but we'll have to ask her about it later.
Oh, she's got a job. Huh.
Well,
She
thank you
better
guys
pay
for
my
watching.
bills.
Thank you guys for watching. Make sure you like and subscribe. We will see you next time for the next Marvel property. We'll see what's going to be coming out soon.
All right.
Okay,
Okay.
bye.
Hoy te toca perder.
Wait.